Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how to calculate enthalpy change using enthalpy of formation. Now, in the previous video, I taught you how to calculate enthalpy change using bond enthalpies. And in this, we're going to calculate enthalpy change using enthalpy of formation values. And there are numerous ways to calculate enthalpy change, right? There are many different techniques. You can use bond enthalpies, you can use enthalpy of formation. If applicable, you could use enthalpy of combustion. There are different ways to measure enthalpy change. And the IB expects you to know three main ways, and that is one, how to calculate enthalpy change using bond enthalpies, which we covered in the previous video, how to calculate enthalpy change using enthalpy of formation, which we're going to cover in this video, and how to calculate enthalpy using enthalpy of combustion values, which we will calculate in the upcoming video. And with these three videos, you guys will get a solid foundation of how to solve these questions. They're extremely easy. You just have to understand the concept behind it and to remember certain formulas. So how do you calculate enthalpy change using enthalpy of formation values? Now, you have to flip to section 12 of your data booklet. Make sure you have the most up-to-date data booklet. You can find it online. Just search it up and you can download a PDF. In that, we will see a series of substances, their formulas, their states, and the enthalpy of formation values. And these are the values you will use to calculate the enthalpy change for this specific reaction using enthalpy of formation values. The formula for calculating enthalpy change using enthalpy of formation values is the enthalpy of formation of the products minus the enthalpy of formation of the reactants. So P is products, R is reactants. And I know this is a flip from the previous method to calculate enthalpy change, where in bond enthalpies, we actually have to do reactants minus products. We flip it in this case, it's actually products minus reactants. So that's an important distinction you need to remember. I made this mistake once in one of my earlier exams where I did the opposite and I got confused, and that caused me to lose marks. So always remember that. Just don't make that silly mistake. Anyways, let's first take a look at this. Enthalpy of formation of the products. Let's look at the table. All the answers are there in the table. So the products in this case is liquid benzene. So where is liquid benzene in the table? If you scan, you will find it in I think it's right after cyclohexane and right before methyl benzene. You have benzene. The enthalpy of formation for liquid benzene is 49 kilojoules per mole. What about the enthalpy of formation for our reactants? Our reactants is ethine. So what is the enthalpy of formation for ethine? Well, let's scan the table. Let's see if we can find it. So ethine is right before propyne, and it's right after trans-but-2-ene. So ethine, which is in its gaseous state, has an enthalpy of formation of 228 kilojoules per mole. But since we have 3 moles of ethine, we have to multiply this whole thing by 3, just like we did in the previous video where we had to calculate the bond enthalpies. Exact same logic. We have to multiply the enthalpy of formation of ethine by 3 because that's the number of moles of ethine that we have. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, all we have to do is do the math. Just put this into your calculator. It's a paper 2 question, so you're allowed your calculator. So 49 minus 3 times 228, that gives you an answer of negative 635 kilojoules per mole. So that is the enthalpy change. That is it. That is how simple this is. That took not even a minute, maybe 2 minutes to solve that question. It is that easy. You can easily score 2 marks with this method. It is much simpler than the bond enthalpies, which it can get a bit complicated, but this one is very straightforward, very easy, and hopefully you have understood the concept behind it, and hopefully you won't forget it in the exam. So please practice a lot of these questions. It's like math. The more you practice, the better you get at it. And you will be on your way to scoring that 7 or 6 or whatever your target grade is in chemistry. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions regarding this concept or any other concept, please feel free to reach out to me on my social media. I'm always open to help. I reply to messages within a couple hours. Send me an email, put it down in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help you. I'll see you in another video with another question. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.